Hey, welcome everybody to another fascinating night at Battle Pirates. This is a Battle Pirates Crib Friday night open mic. I posted a link on the right-hand side in case anybody would like to join the conversation. We're going to focus on the 115 target in the FM, I think mostly tonight. And let me introduce everybody that's with us. From left to right is the Holsch.
Howdy, everyone.
How are you doing there, Holsch?
I'm doing good.
Okay. Magic Mike.
Ciao, buonasera.
And Corey.
Good day. Good day.
And Father George.
Is it live or is it Memorex?
Yes. Senior Daniel.
Hi, everyone.
And Tudors.
Class is in session.
Oh. Go. And joining us late is Toxic.
G'day, everyone. How are we doing?
But for him, it's early.
Yeah. He had to wake up for the show. So, all right. I think we've seen through the videos that the 115 is very obtainable with multiple Zelos. But the Zelos as a blank haul is almost 7 days. So a lot of people with the 3-month raid cycle and everything else that's been going on with the game, with the escalation weapons coming out now, I'd like to concentrate on those people that are successful doing it with just a single Zelos and not dealing with the Zelos magic that's going on when you start putting more than one in the fleet. So, I've been able to luck into a build at this point that just a conglomeration of old garrison tanks that I throw together, and I'm able to do the 115 from either instant repair on the map to instant repair in my base for a 115 with no real changes. But if you're going to do that, you need to have basically a driving style it's closer to siege or assault than what we're used to garrison. And then I guess later on we'll get into the changes to the monolith, which I am really surprised people have found a reason to complain about on the forums. But I guess that's what the forums are for. And we have a couple late joiners, Aussie.
Hello.
And Dead Center. Oh.
We got Brun.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go. All right.
Sorry,
So-
I was on mute.
It's okay. All right. How's everybody doing in the 115? And like I said, if you're using 2 or 3 Zelos, it's sort of a no-brainer. But the people that are using, one, we'd like to hear about those first.
Hi.
Right.
Admittedly, after the sprint was first available, I claimed it. I have 3 sprints. I think I have 4 or 5 Gale 2s, some Phalanx 3s, and obviously the duality. But it's nothing special except for the sprint, which is unfortunate that it feels necessary. But I don't have any experience without it, and I don't want to try that. So the only thing I did this time to adjust for the speed, which will be discussed later, I swapped my speed system 4 to speed system 5. I took a look at George's video. I understood the driving and the reason behind it. Replicated as best I could. Target took me 8 minutes real time. Instant repair on the map. First ever 115. So yeah, I didn't have to put tridents on the back line or gales or any more charged armor anywhere. Just did what I'd been doing. Unfortunately, it requires charged armor to start. But I don't think they're going to ease that requirement up anytime soon.
Okay, sounds good. So you have how many of the sprints do you have on? What ship is it on? They're on the Zelos, and you just have one tank ship.
Yeah, all just 3, all in the Zelos.
Okay, and that's able to. Okay, that's cool. So you only need 3 on a Zelos to shoot down all the. That's very nice.
I guess so.
Okay.
I know people want 4, but I guess 3's been working for me. Maybe I got lucky.
Huh, okay. Well, how many have you hit? I'm just curious if it's one of those random,
How many have I? Sorry, what?
How many 115s have you hit that way? A bunch?
5, 6.
Okay. I just don't want to, I didn't want that number to get out there and people are like, it's not working. So,
I take a cold snap hit about, I take like 1 hit from a cold snap every about 3 runs or so, I think. So it's not perfect, but
okay.
really good.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? Because I'm running multiple tanks, and they were just old tanks that I had sort of sitting around. So that's a very different approach with Brian. That's why he's able to get it done much faster. And part of it is the driving, which I think we'll get into later, because the arc missiles, the Merving missile, it appears to have quite a bit of flak evade or something, and it does way more damage than what we saw previously with the 113s.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
I was gonna say it's the reason why you have to drive if you're using a single Zealous, you have to drive like you drive in icebreakers with no gales on them. I mean, like I can do I was doing the 115 with the one Zealous. I refit it to have a bunch of gales on it to get rid of the UAVs. And I mean, if I drove casually and stopped, I would take damage. If I drove like I did in the video, not a scratch. I mean, I think the worst run I had done was the one that we did last night, and that was, what was it, 15 minutes while I was lagging and jumping everywhere, trying to run all that stuff at the same time. And before that, my worst one was like 3 minutes. And honestly, I'm building this. I am gonna stick with the 2 Zealous because it's just so much easier. It's so much less of a headache to drive.
Yeah, I understand it's less of a headache, but I don't think the reason I wanted to bring that up at this point is the fact that with the escalation weapons coming out now, and we're only getting that 1 Zelos token, but we're also getting that 1 generic build token at tier 3. It's going to be a 20-some day build to put one of these things together at this point, isn't it? Because it's about it's like it's over 6.5 days for a blank haul.
You know, it's funny, the one that I ran, because I had the second one come out with the specials, and I put on a couple of antis, and I have no armor on the second one at all. Like I don't even know what the build. I'll have to look and see how much time this one would take to build, but I'm not sure. I mean, whatever it is that is going on works well enough where I if I was starting from scratch, I probably wouldn't put any armor on them at all right now until I know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, but even without the armor, it's still an inconvenient time with for this to happen with the escalation weapons coming out at the same time to start using up your your shipyard time to build a new Zelos and then rank it, because as we know, ranking a Zelos is not that fun because of the repair modifier on it. Yep. And the current situation that we have. I guess we can talk about VXP weekend as well later on, where you can't retreat and you can't maximize your VXP like you would before. So I can imagine it would be quite painful to rank a Zelos at this point in time. And I hope they take a look at that, because it appears that despite what we heard in the State of the Game Winter 2016 from Doom Rooster, the Zelos appears to be, at least one appears to be somewhat of a necessity in these targets. And, you know, we were promised that it was never going to outperform any of the specialists. And it appears that it's an integral cog at this point.
Well, I mean, you can do it with the grid. It's just you're not going to have as easy of a time. Yeah, I think the thing is like our definition of need is, you know, this is going to make my game fun, and their definition of need is, you know, can you do the target or not? And that's not comparable, you know. I mean, I don't want to sit here and take 50,000 hours of damage to do one target because I don't quote unquote need a hull. I mean, the Zelos token should be coming out. The VXP tokens should have come out with them. I think I ran one VXP target today, and I got something like 3,000 VXP per ship with a triple salty. I mean, how long would it take to rank up a Zealous that way, for crying out loud?
And remember,
yeah,
like, it sucks this bad now, but next month and the next 3 months, because they'll typically have a VXP target of the raid type, we get Siege. Siege is all buildings. You never get VXP for hitting buildings.
Yep.
They can't do it. They tried. They failed. Torp towers are ships, according to the game. Little thermo rings that don't actually shoot torpedoes anymore, I don't think. Those are ships. I don't think they're going to be in the new siege targets. So it really is just going to be a run in and die fest.
Ryan, you're always my little ray of sunshine.
I bring love and hope to this world.
and how are you? Right, I've seen some videos you were working with your icebreakers on this target.
Yep. You know, and I can't say that enough. I never spent a penny or a minute of my shipyard building icebreakers. They were 100% done with tokens from multiple runs of Call to Arms. Same with the charged armor and stuff like that. So to me, it was just like a freebie second FM fleet. And I can run right now like 3 to 4 115s with them before I dock. And then after I do that, then I launch the Zelos and the Empyreans, and I do a few more. So I'm really not going to invest any time on a second tank or fine-tuning my ships. I'm going through FM fatigue right now. I don't give a crap about it. I'm just, you know, building conquerors, and I'm going to go back into hitting bases and screw FM.
Yeah, I mean, the timing when they did this was way off if they were familiar with the cycle of the game and the fact that they're releasing escalation weapons at this point, which are needed for the raid. It would have been much more appropriate potentially at the beginning of a raid cycle where some of the technology people don't need to have as quickly. And that would have been, I think, a more appropriate time if they released it. If they changed this, well, we're not even getting to the fact that they changed the target at all in the FM when we were told it wasn't. But the timing was, I don't think the best as far as the player base goes because of the technology that is getting offered there. Because most of the time, early in a raid cycle, the technology is just we use token blocking. But now we actually have important technology in the FM. Even though it doesn't look that important when you just look at DPS and whatnot, but everybody saw what happened with last raid cycle with the Manus missile getting released for the Phoenix and how large of a difference that made, at least for me, on my Phoenix in those targets. So just because of the initial hit and how much damage you were doing over the first 3 or 4 volleys relative to the the previous.
And I wouldn't put past kicks. I should just do like they did in the last raid cycle. And next month, the top elite targets have, maybe the enemies will have a charged armor pool against concussive. Just like they did with the drones in the elite assault last month of the cycle. And in that case, having a weapon with a higher damage per projectile that can overcome that deflection and consume it faster makes a heck of a difference.
I thought Brian was supposed to be the.
They said they wouldn't tune for the escalation weapon,
Awesome.
though.
I
Are
thought
you
Brian.
saying they
I
lied?
thought Brian was. I thought Brian was supposed to be the ray of sunshine. Ryan. What the hell?
We trade off. We trade off.
Oh, okay. I
Also,
got you.
with the Menace missile, we did get the advanced optical tracking special, and we didn't get any special with the first FM, which I'm thinking the second FM of next week we're gonna get another.
Or maybe there is a special and it's just a weapon and they're doing less escalation crap. That's what I'm hoping for.
Well, that's what I'm hoping, but I
didn't even
think
use that special last month.
Well,
I think
I didn't even use that special.
I used it. It made everything so much easier with a
I think
25%.
Nah, George is a special snowflake and he did the math and strike warheads worked better for him.
I challenge that. Like, I want to see the numbers that you used for that, by the way.
For which?
Strike warheads versus ACP on hunters, or the numbers that you found, whatever the numbers that were given.
On hunters. Oh yeah.
Because I don't.
It's on that slide. It was posted up on the. I'll send it to you after.
Okay, thanks. Because I can't like
For the
first salvo. For the first salvo, yes, it's better. After that, it immediately falls off because you have a damage difference of like a few percent versus all 30% reload that you gain. Critical hits don't matter. Not really.
Yeah, they do.
Because the damage difference is so little. It's 50% versus 55.7 on something that's already 175. So it's 225 versus 230. I mean, okay, but I'd rather have 30% reload at that point.
Oh my god, numbers, they hurt.
How's that degree? How is that degree? Yeah, I was gonna say something else. I completely forgot. Oh, I think the CTX 3, the armor special. I think that's the only escalation special we're gonna see. Really, I don't think because the advanced torpedo tubes are 2 days. And if they want to give us a better version of that, nobody has time to refit them. If they want to give us a better version of sealed fire charge and the PBX, that's a little better because they're really quick to put on.
And I don't know if it was George or TSM or my mom, but somebody mentioned that escalation specials were already released through those Tech Up TLCs and stuff. Because, I mean, I put that SH6 on 2 of my fangs. And now when I use the fleet consistently, the 2 with SH6 are taking less damage than the 2 with GS3. It's not much. It's about on average 15% less damage, but it piles up, right? So that's one escalation special. The other one, whoever put sonar on a fang or 2, now there's the sonic targeting 4 that builds in a lot less time than sonic targeting 3. So that's another escalation special. You know, they all came after my fangs were built.
Yep. Exactly. That's yeah. We already got
They
it.
were just delivered in a different way.
Yeah, those specials are interesting. I'm digging all the stuff you can do with the Fang Tooth. I really love the Nightmare Torpedo, by the way. I really, really do.
You know, my problem with that, I really cannot tell, or I should say, if I pay a lot of attention, I can, but otherwise I can't tell the difference between Delirium and Nightmare. They look so much freaking alike. I have to hover the mouse over to know which is which.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
That's freaking lazy from their design department. I mean, how much work would be to, like, you know, put a few light green, glowing green dots on the Nightmare, because I think glowing green is part of the Scourge motif. You know, do something. Don't be freaking lazy.
Yeah, and we were talking about earlier the difference between the 89 range cold snap and the 110, and they look exactly the same. Like a little color cast over the killer, the short range one is a killer with, the evasion that it has on it, and I think it's gonna, at least in the short term, because with a lot of players, it seems like they're skating on thin ice with, that they're gonna get really, really frustrated when a third of their fleet is dead, when they get a little too close to that one relative to the one with the 110 range, which, if you have the sprints or tridents on, doesn't do anything to you.
Okay.
So it would be nice to see that.
The Delirium torpedo has yellow accents. There's a yellow sticker on the side and yellow little head whatsits, and on the Nightmare they're white.
Wow.
I really think it should have been glowing green as well, because yellow and white, there's not too much difference.
But I mean, that's impossible to see in the shipyard. Maybe you can see that in the artwork when you open the blueprint description in the
I had to
shipyard.
do that. That is literally what I had to do to see it, because I couldn't see it from my ship. I was like,
No,
crap.
from the shipyard, they're just identical.
Oh well.
I mean, at least in the good old days, when they had all the shockwave mortars and they all looked the same, there was a small letter next to each one, NLA. Okay, I can tell the difference. Put a freaking letter.
Yep.
Yeah, and it only took 2 hours to build, or less than that, 45 minutes to build.
No, I mean, I remember siege cannons back then was like a day to build.
Yeah, D35, it almost seemed longer than that. But yeah, the D35S was considered the most powerful weapon of the game for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's down to instant repair and 12 tons, and it still has many, many uses.
Yep.
So, should we get back to something related to the FM, or does anybody want to, because I'm not sure if anybody out there in chat, I mean, there's videos out there, but if anybody wants to run through a 115 without 4 Zeloses or something like that.
I'm running one right now with icebreakers, but I don't know if you guys want to see that.
Sure. I mean, it gives people different options as far as, I can highlight you, just so people have an idea. I mean, I think, helping as far as the driving goes, because with a couple of Zelos, you don't really need, the driving's not as important. And I haven't actually even tried with the icebreakers.
Okay, want me to share my screen? I can share my screen.
Sure, if you like to. I'll highlight you and we can keep on talking. If people want to watch it, they can, or it's probably more informative than just, different icons popping or avatars popping up on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
So can you see my screen?
Yep. There we go.
Okay, so first thing I do, start down here, kill that dead pylon there. Then I circle around the carrier. I come right in here because I want to fill up the
Bloodthirst
on the Vasago icebreaker. Right, so now that that's done, then I go back down there. And I try to splash, I don't have the right crew right now, but I try to splash it before I actually get in touch with the carrier, so it's less time firing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, here's one of the ones, the killer ones right there.
Yeah, speed 6, they're all stacked, I don't stop.
Yeah. I'm just saying for the monolith, that's one of those ones, the ones that sit by themselves, that are shorter range, that you can easily kite with your tank and have your monoliths hit it. But the resistances on the icebreaker are way, way higher.
So the one thing I want to do, and I have tokens for that, I just don't have a free shipyard, but I want to do like TSM did and just put some Gales back on my ships.
Yeah.
Just miss
To deal with.
because the Gales are better against the UAVs, right?
Well, yeah, they're not going to tag them. I mean, I'm still not sure if the mechanics. I'm still haven't worked out if the mechanics on the UAV are similar to that of a missile, as far as the tagging and untagging. Because I find, everything's happening so fast in some of these things that it's really hard to parse it out and figure out exactly what's doing what as far as shooting things down. Because I know that I was really surprised when you go through this gate and you have the two track carriers. I'm always surprised when this doesn't give me any damage whatsoever.
Yeah, if you take a look, I mean, people ask if what the UAVs are. I think they're penetrating, but I think they do splash damage because if you look at my ships, can you see I'm spreading them around?
Yeah.
Their pools are all exactly at the same level, and that tells me all they've been taking throughout the whole battle is all splash damage. Right?
What if
There's
they
nothing
change?
actually firing at one specific ship because otherwise I'd have pools at different levels.
What if
And
they chain
to
4
me,
times?
they look all identical.
It could be chaining.
Yeah, chain 4 times.
5 times, I don't know. I mean, could be chaining or could be that. I remember the bomber UAV did splash damage.
Yeah.
Oh, so they
Yeah,
get a
'cause
bomber
they
UAV that works.
Yeah. Well, because they could also be doing, a primary weapon type of penetrating with a secondary weapon type of explosive, and have it be,
And I usually don't drive like I'm
Or the other way
doing
around.
just because I'm not paying attention. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
I'm driving and talking. That means I really can't drive properly.
Yeah. Having that countermeasure icebreaker, does that help a lot?
Each one of my icebreakers, they all have 2 countermeasures, but it's a mix. I mean, 2 of them have 1 flanks 4 and 1 gale 3, and those 2 have CML 4. The other 3 don't have anything to buff accuracy or range in the countermeasure, but they have sprints. Let me see, is it sprints? Yeah, 2 sprints.
Mhm.
So I have 6 sprints on the fleet, 2 gales, 2 flanks. I mean, I really don't mind. Like I said, I mean, I have some tokens. I might refit some stuff. I'm just tired of obsessing over FM. I want to build stuff that's fun. Right? So there, 1 hour and 30. I have the wrong crew. I usually run steel heads or Molotov maidens. I'm running mortar heads for whatever stupid reason.
Yeah, I mean, Mortarheads is what I run on my monoliths because of the.
Yeah, I put the wrong crew on the fleet. Yeah, it's just a disaster right now. But I'm usually getting 1 hour with the right crew.
Yeah, because I was wondering how effective that was at shooting down the. Because I've always been running that one because it extends your anti-mortar by I think 30% the range, so you're getting you're shooting at those UAVs earlier, and I'm just sort of I'm wondering because those UAVs look to be quite fast.
They are. So that's my setup. Can you see the setup over there? 2M, 2X armor, bunch of V rockets. To me, it's all about speed. So I was about outrunning the cold snaps. And if you keep a straight line, you pretty much can do that.
Okay.
So where is
Very
it?
nice.
So, yeah, 2 sprints. Where are the ones with 2 sprints? And then, that's the other setup where I have a CML 4 and 1 gale, 1 flanks. But other than that, it's pretty much all the same.
Also, I've noticed that if you put projectile speed with a tank, it actually helps against those UAVs because they go so fast.
Oh, so you can countermeasure them before they start circling you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I put what the hell is that thing? The one that boosts the duality and gives you a speed boost. What the hell is that called?
Boost the duality. Say one more time.
Yeah, the thing that helps the duality reload. It's the
the subaquatic.
subaquatic. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I have subaquatic on both of the Zealous, and on the second Zealous that has the sprints. I have that and have high velocity rounds.
Okay.
Anyways, I mean, I just decided not to play with that anymore. I'm refeeding my old mudgluts to the simple scatter guns, and I just want to have a fleet of that to go round hit places.
Okay. Does anybody want to show without multiple Zealous where you actually? Because I'd like everybody that's watching to get an idea of the driving style that you need to use with the monoliths in this target.
Well, I sure as hell can't do it live with the Hangout running. You can run the video if you want.
Yeah.
If you want Zelos and Empyreans, I can do it. Zelos and Monos, I don't really like.
Really? Okay. Because those are the ones we've been able to get down to like instant repair. It's just that I ended up hitting a target either it's my computer or my connection, but I ended up taking it was the first time I took more than basically instant repair damage when I was hitting a target during the pre-show, and I was it wasn't working. Didn't work well for me just because I lagged into one of those short range cold snaps. So I know it doesn't work for me.
I don't even think it's lag. I think it's the damn memory leakage. I mean, like I said in the pre-show, like it's gotten to the point sometimes where I have to, like, I'll leave my base, enter a 115, go park in a corner, and refresh. Otherwise, I'll lag through the entire friggin' encounter.
Oh yeah, after a few, you gotta reload the game. I mean, I can probably do 3 or 4, then I gotta reload the game.
It's insane. Like I opened it up once after doing just one 115, and I was at 2.5 gigs of memory. I was like, what the hell is going on?
So they want us to play this game for long sessions, but the limitations of their own game is preventing us from doing that. Yeah, good job, guys.
They had this problem before, and they fixed it. This started again with Bounty 1, and it's just been getting progressively worse.
It all happened before, and it's gonna happen again.
Yeah, well, it's got to get fixed.
Well, it got fixed last time, so there's hope.
No, the Cylons are gonna kill us all.
Oh man, I don't even remember who those are.
What was that again?
The silence were going to kill us all?
The Cylons?
Cylons, yeah.
Oh,
that's
he said. I heard silence. He said silence. Okay, wrong joke.
Yeah, I was getting confused.
No, I said it has all happened before. It's all gonna happen again. That's from Battlestar Galactica. So
Yeah, that's true.
If you want a good laugh, I can try one.
Mhm.
It's
Well, you haven't had good luck with just using one. Like, I'm just
50 minutes I took last time.
yeah. No, I'm getting it. I'm getting an instant repair on the map with one Zelos. And I think that's because we can show people. I mean, I think the strategy is for people to work up and try to get a second Zelos and get the Zelos tokens. But I'm sort of trying to concentrate on the single Zelos at this point.
That's what I did. I put,
Yeah. But you're getting 50. I haven't seen you drive it.
Right. That's what I said.
And
I'll do it if you want to watch.
So
Give it a whirl, man.
Because I mean, you can give it a whirl, but it might not be the right.
No, I don't have to.
If you're taking 50, I'm just saying, if you're taking 50 minutes,
That was the first try.
it might not be the driving style to emulate.
Right. You can yell at me.
I mean, you can dude. Just run the video.
It's got the. It's got the.
Well, if you want to fast forward, I can flop over to you, and but if you want to get it to where the relevant parts are, and I can screen share you. I don't know where it is at the moment.
Oh,
But yeah, the driving style is. I think yours is similar because when I hit the target, I just keep on looping. I don't go back and forth. I do big loops to come back, so I'm never going to come back into the fire that was already. But I'm assuming that you're doing something similar to what I'm doing.
yeah, I was kind of kiting everything. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can.
Well, I was running several tanks, so I did big looping circles.
I got it. I got it inside chat. The initial video that you posted with 1 Zelos and 4 Manas.
All right, hold on a second. Share. All right,
And you
I
can
think I got
fast
it.
forward through the 20 minutes of intro.
Yeah. You ready?
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Did you lock on the video?
Yeah. On YouTube, you can see it. You need to lock on it yourself. On YouTube, it's locked on. Noob.
Spend
Hang on.
20% like a scrub.
So you know what I don't get about people running Zelos with the
Yeah.
monos? I mean, I know the monos have a bit more remote range and more damage, but when you run the Zelos with the Imperiums, the Imperium flag gives the Zelos plus 50% explosive and pen resistances, so it makes the tank last a lot longer. So I don't know. That's why I like the combo. Even after the monos change, I still prefer my Zamps combo because the tank is just a lot stronger.
Well, you don't really need the tank to do anything but spot in this. You don't get hit by anything. I mean, the catch is and see that's the one of those cold snaps you're talking about, Jeff.
Yeah.
The catch is you got to drive it like I don't like this because you're driving it like it's not a garrison fleet. It's a garrison fleet if it's like an icebreaker fleet maybe, but that's about it. You have to constantly, you constantly have to be moving.
Well, it completely disrails the whole gridiron aura. I mean, there's no way you can have ships lagging behind.
No.
Well, that aura is the second most useless thing about the monos. I mean, the first was the speed, which they fixed, but that aura is just freaking useless.
Yeah, at this point,
now it's just been completely.
It's always been. I mean, who in their right mind was even before driving the chuckers straight behind the tank?
Well, I was stacking them.
No,
it was working fine.
Stacking, yeah, but I mean, driving them offset behind. When you offset you offset them to the side, not to the back, because you get all the splash from arcs and everything else. It's just dumb. It actually encourages players to do the wrong thing.
Yeah, and I can't remember in that raid did the arcs not target like the monoliths if you tried to do that?
No, not the arcs, but the executioners were usually targeting the weakest fleets.
Oh, that's
the weakest ships.
Something was just like it's just that the whole thing was. Yeah, it's probably one of the worst fleets ever, or worst hulls ever was the Gridiron.
No, the whole monolith fleet concept. I mean, the whole thing together.
I didn't mind my monoliths. I had a problem with the Gridiron.
I had a problem with the monoliths relying on the gridiron to get deflection. They didn't have any deflection.
And it's weird because then the counter to that is, well, they shouldn't get hit. But then so many things in the target are programmed to hit them no matter what. They have priority targeting. And that is some garbage.
Yeah.
Although they're turrets and you have good turret deflection.
But I mean, this is like, so to do this target with one tank, you just can't stop. Like, there's like 2 places you can stop in the entire target. That's it. And it doesn't make it, it is not a fun thing to do. It's just not fun.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, well, you ran one tank. I was running. More my thought was just the one Zealous, because a lot of people have Gridiron Monolith and Monolith tokens that they can change those into. It's just having to build a whole nother Zelos. But I was trying to help people not
I'm
do.
not gonna do that. No way.
Well, this one, I mean, I had the tokens too. I had the token. The 2 tokens got me the Gales onto my Zealous, which means that I actually have to drive the Zealous different because it's slower than my monoliths in this. And the monoliths I swapped out with tokens to put the sprints on them. So the sprints, I'm running the sprints on the monoliths, not on the Zealous. You can see, like this right here, this outside ring is the Zealous countermeasure, and this inside one is the ones from the monoliths. So that way, when I come up to, like, when anything fires that's missile or UAV or anything, I actually have the Zealous firing first, and the duality firing before that sprint ever fires, because the sprint just doesn't have the accuracy. But when you get close enough to a cold snap to fire, like I just walked through that one, they fire beautifully off of the monoliths. So it worked out well. I mean, that's based. I mean, this was all based on the 2 Zealous concept that I talked about, weeks ago when the 115 first came out, because I was going to use that to counter all those fucking missiles.
Hey, Ryan, you said you want to run some Zealous with Imperians?
Yeah, why not? Sure.
Okay. I will focus on you while I get a beer, because I'm not going to build 4 Imperians, but I'm sure that a lot of people out there have them. And everybody should know that they now have a heavy concussive Gatling gun for their Imperians. That they have been, yeah, they were really hoping for the last part of the raid cycle. They had really convert over all their Imperians over to being a skirmish fleet. Not that they shouldn't have seen these a long time ago. But I'll be back in a moment. But I'm gonna go grab a beer, or be back.
And that looked laggy as hell, but okay. Driving them kind of parallel.
Yeah,
Which I guess-
I can't stand driving like that. Like, I've never gotten to the point where, even when hitting bases, like I mess up with the sloths trying to drive them offset from the thing. This was never ever fun for me.
I enjoy it.
Is it possible to mitigate the damage with that field? Because it does give it some kind of ship deflection, right?
Yeah, so the field, actually, the aura you see here, from the flagship gives the Zealous plus 50% explosive and pen resistance. And from the Imperials, you get a little bit too. And I mean, on that cold snap here in the middle, for instance, I could have stopped and not gotten in range, and that would be less damage. But again, that's more fine driving, and I don't have patience for that anymore, right? So I can just kind of drive, but yeah, if I stay within the aura, the tank is a lot stronger. But what I learned is for the UAVs, I can't stand inside the aura. If I stand anywhere inside the aura, that's pretty much their chaining range, the aura. So if I put the Zelos just outside the aura, like here, the UAVs won't chain.
So the payoff is you don't get the chaining, but then you also take more damage on the Zealous if any of the UAVs get through. That sucks.
Yeah, that's the trade-off, buddy.
That sucks.
So I'm gonna see if I can show that to you here. I don't know if I need to zoom in. I hope not. But
What's the range on the Emperor?
let's see. Okay, the amps are in range. So
Looks like
I'm gonna try and keep the Zelos inside the aura, but just barely. So now I'm just at the aura. Okay.
Isn't it 95% retargeting range?
There. So let's see if the UAVs chain.
Mhm.
I don't know if any's going to get through. That's the other thing, right?
Oh, you'd hope not.
So yeah, see? Chaining. Right there.
Oh,
Side. One of them went over there. So if the Zelos inside the aura, it just changed. So I learned that when I'm going against the carriers, and I just move the Zelos out of the aura, and that's enough for it not to change.
So they force you outside of the protection just so you.
Yep, first.
That's a little dirty.
So I mean, honestly, like this is the top target. Look at the damage I'm taking so far. It's really not bad.
yeah.
I'm personally okay with that because I don't want to have like multiple refits and drive like like my life depends on it. So whatever, that's good enough for me.
Yeah. After this,
I'm lazy as hell.
after this, Mike, do you want to run your to show how silly overpowered multiple Zeloses is? Do you want to run your your 4 Zelos fleet with the monolith?
With the one.
Yeah, with the one monolith, and just so everybody is aware of, if you got 4 monoliths, if you got 4 Zealous with some antes on, it's just crazy, stupid, easy.
3 is enough.
I mean, yeah, well, he's got 3. 3 is definitely enough, but it's how powerful that combination is. But it does have a really long build time because nothing really.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2's enough. 2 Zealous and you can sit under everything.
So that range on that aura is 95, and when you're on the edge of it,
I get chained. Yes.
So if
So
I
like a
may
chain
cast your
range
mind back a little bit, there was a post by Kixeye with builds that were given to us that was broken down in a fantastic way at Wednesday's show, and that I won't touch into there because they already ripped them to shreds because Kix builds are shit. And everything they had a 94 range spotter.
So now you step just out of the aura, and there will be no chain at all.
Yeah, so if you used a 94 range spotter like Kixeye suggests here,
you're doomed.
You are going to get chained on. Now, that was before the introduction of this target, so technically I'm being a little unfair, but I don't care. Kix is shit at ship builds.
You're still angry at GDA about that comment, aren't you?
Other people are also angry, but we put a lot of time and thought into our ship builds. Oh, and ours are legal when you launch them out of the dock because we want to do that one again. That was a fun time.
Yeah, and everybody watch out. The cold snap he's about to hit this one. This one's nasty. If you get too close to it, it's got an 89 range, and unless you got 4 Zeloses or whatnot, it'll put a hurting on you because it's going to evade your rocket countermeasures, your tridents or your sprints. So that's one you don't want to just run up on.
Now here's where I do something weird.
Oh, is this sweet remote targeting strats? Nice.
Sorry, what did you say?
Yes. This is gonna be fun. I'm enjoying this already.
Splash.
Just boop.
At this distance, the arc missiles still fire at the Zelos, not at my back line. And the Zelos is just out of chaining range. So I splashed turrets to death by just doing this, and my back line is not at risk.
Ooh.
Problem with that approach is, as you can see, I mean, I'm already 8 minutes into the target, and even though I stopped to explain a few things, blah, 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 it's a long time.
Yeah, my 115s are 8 minutes.
Yeah,
And I
mine
have-
are usually 8 minutes, but now we're chatting and whatnot, so it's taking a bit longer, but still.
Yeah, and we have to do. Oh, that was the other thing. You know, we had to do so many of these, and they mentioned before that they were going to up the points by 10% and reduce the prizes by 20%.
They can calculate percentages.
Well, no, and I'm about to prove that because this is my source of joy this week. So, well, even if we count the chest, so the sprint was 1.35 million when it first came out, and they dropped everything else to 120,000 or 1.2 million. I'm sorry. Even counting from the sprint, the highest amount, by the way. It's a drop of 150,000, which is only 11.1%. If we're counting just the 50,000, that because everything else was 1.25. Then if I could find the buttons on the keyboard, yeah, that's a 4% decrease. That's a thing. Even the chest, which went down from 1.4 million down to 1.2. That's a difference of a seventh, which is 14.28%. None of these are anywhere close to 20%. So, and ironically enough, if you flip that around and say, oh, the prizes are being decreased by about 10% and the points are going up by 20%, then it's actually correct. But as written, I think people need to go back to school.
Okay.
Like 5th grade.
Mike, as far as the background, could you, I'll highlight you. You want to run 4 Zeloses so people...
I'm in a target, just trying. I hope I picked the right ones.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, because how many Zelos do you have? It's like some crazy number.
4. Well, I have 5. I built 5 over time. 2
Okay.
I always had as tanks, and 3 turned into the ballistic ones.
Okay.
Oh, so this
Yeah, I
is
have 4.
ballistic Zelos still.
And then 1 was more or less retired tank. And okay, so that's
4 Zelos and 1, yeah.
there's the 1 monolith.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's crazy overpowered.
And I was talking to Laredo earlier too, and he had, rather than refit his Zealous, he actually had 2 Zealous, and it had tridents on it, and I think I sent you a picture of one of them, Hefe.
Yeah.
But he didn't refit them. He just put them both together and threw them in and went to town and walking the 115s.
I almost did the same thing, George. Really, with just stuff laying around. It was a really small refit, and it was only on the 1 mono. But if I come out of here with a bit of damage, I'm going to be embarrassed.
Well, from what I've seen, you don't really need to drive.
No.
No,
Yeah,
you can
'cause
sit. Yeah, you can sit on. Like I was sitting. I
Yeah,
just
'cause
sat on
it-
everything.
Yeah, because if you're just running 1 Zelos, these arc missiles that you see coming at you, which are doing way more damage than what you're used to, would be landing. But with this, with all these Zelos and however that accuracy bonus is working, it blocks them all. So you can run it sort of like you ran the old FM, not the old ones, but like the 113s, where you can just sort of mosey along and ignore the arc missiles. But if you only have 1, you can't really ignore the arc missiles. You need to.
Yeah, you got to drive like that
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. Well, I know, like
Here's
yeah.
Here's here. This is the one that I now this one right here was the one that I ran yesterday, and the second Zealous is not even built. It has like its specials and some countermeasures, some what do you call it? Sprints, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. I mean, no armor, no nothing. I just wanted to see how it was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Just to see if everything fired right. It was just like a dry run, just to see if everything was going to work. And I was like, holy crap, this is ridiculous. Like, it absolutely was just ridiculous. And actually, if you can, let me just go back here for a second. If you can see the build here, I just went absolutely crazy with projectile speed. Crazy projectile speed. I wanted as much as I could because I wasn't running the CM special, and this is
We're watching the crazy.
We're watching Mike, actually.
We're watching Mike's crazy 4 Zeloses at this point.
Oops.
Just to show how overpowered this is. You don't need to do.
Now the video's queued up for later.
Yeah.
Video's queued
Put it
up.
on pause. Okay.
It is
Yeah,
paused.
just put it on pause. Yeah.
Yeah, this is some magical nonsense.
Yeah.
It's beautiful and terrifying, like many great works of art.
Yeah.
Oh, those are cannons, Alice. It's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with one monolith, just to keep that garrison flare in there. But you could probably run rhinos.
So
If
if
would
you
work.
look at Kitsane, put the cannon fleet together, throw a mortar chucker, and say, "Yeah, sure, that's garrison."
That's good.
See the mortars?
The monolith-
monolith.
The monolith, by the way, is so you don't actually time out trying to kill the carriers.
Well, actually, I run 3 ballistics, and it takes me about 40 seconds to kill the carrier. Just plain ballistics.
Of which there were what, 4? Oh, in the 115 there's like
3.
6.
Yeah, 3.
Oh, sorry. And 2 in the middle. Okay, so
Hang on.
5.
Yeah, no, the ones in the middle I tried to sub out, and that did not work well because I got into range. The front 2 cold snaps only take away your field, but they don't hit your subs. But the back row, the gauntlet, did me in. I got a little bit too close, and it did my my fang fleet in.
The torp
Oh yeah, because you'll get seen by the inside corner thermal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'd still try to build monos at least. The game is sure chucking enough tokens at you that you can do it.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of enjoy. I mean, for the players that have been around for a while, this whole this target, I find it somewhat enjoyable. I wish, like I said earlier, I wish it came around earlier in the raid cycle when they were just putting the token blockers out there, because Mike has got you've got 99 tokens and of each of icebreakers and monoliths, and I have a few. I still have like 20 after I've done my refits, but it was sort of fun to use the tokens to try to figure out the target.
Yeah.
That's true.
I was hoarding tokens.
Yeah.
This is the interesting bit here. The two drag carriers. I was very scared of losing my fleet, so I tried everything else. I tried I tried my what do you call them? Those new subs at the fangs, and I lost them.
Fangtooths, but yeah, I noticed that. I think these mines have sonar, because I noticed I tried to send them in because I was scared of this. That looked scary. But then I saw the arc missiles firing as I was going through them, and then I pushed retreat.
Oh shoot! Well,
you can if you're close enough to the arc missiles, they won't fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I just park right there with one Zelos, and I don't have an issue.
And if you don't hit a mine, you don't take any damage.
Yeah, I think that mine jumped out and grabbed you, Mike.
I just embarrassed myself here.
I tried to do like 103s. Mine hitboxes are super weird, you guys.
Why did they happen?
Oh, your boxes are really weird.
The mine hitboxes.
Yeah, I
just
don't
like,
know if I
all right,
don't know if I
fine.
want to know anymore. That's
TMI.
Yeah. Is this because they're, you're complaining you didn't know that they were yellow and white polka dots because you can't tell the difference?
No, I think it's just a continuation of the corner circles on the squid walls. They have weird hitboxes. It's that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I was using just a Zelos cannon fleet at first, 5 Zeloses. but yeah, the Drat carriers were taking 43 seconds to kill each one. So I was left with like about 5 minutes on the timer. So I took 2 Zeloses out and I've added 2 monos, and now I can kill the Drat carriers in about 10 seconds.
Yeah,
And
I-
that's still no damage.
I just wasn't sure whether three Zealous can take the 2 Drat carriers UAVs.
Two Zelos can.
I use 3
One
monos
Zealous
now. I use three
What?
3 monos now and 2 Zelos is my normal.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, I just haven't refitted my Zeloses because they were cannon. It's a cannon fleet, so I haven't actually added any more. I haven't added sprints or anything to them.
Yeah.
Just 3 Tritons on each one. So
that-
I didn't want to spend the time refitting them.
Yeah.
That's why I'm running 3. 2 will take 1 or 2 hits from the carriers, but 3 won't. I can sit in front of the 2 carriers in that entry and it'll shoot everything down.
Yeah. The mine
Yeah, I mean,
cost
I
me
do
a
that.
half hour.
Yeah, I do that with 1 or 2. I mean, I pulled it off with both. But the
I
with the
think
two
about that.
with the 2, I don't have to move at all. I mean, you know, do you want
No,
do you want me
I-
to run this FA or not?
I'm sure. I'm not sure. Are you running a double Zealous? Okay.
Yeah. This
Well,
one's double
are you
Zealous.
going to have mine?
No, this is just gonna be. I'm just gonna play the video because I'm writing stuff on another screen.
Now,
No,
another
I'm saying-
idea.
I was giving Mike a hard time because
Oh.
he would go
'Cause he
through
ran-
with
yeah,
zero.
no, I saw
he would have gone through with 0 damage, but
Yeah.
he ran into a mine. So
I told you I'd be embarrassed if I hit something.
yeah.
Well, the only
Alright.
reason I'm running 3 Zealous is because they've got Quaker cannons on them as well. If they didn't have the Quaker cannons, then they'd just be filled up with antis.
The antis are what does
Yeah.
it. You ready? You ready, Jeff?
Yeah, you're on the screen.
So I should probably do this at half speed too.
Yeah,
But
I'm gonna have to try that. Try that right.
yeah, this was I mean, fuck that. This is the well, if that thing would get the hell off, so I could show. This is all that was on the second Zealous because I just wanted to do a dry run, and this is all. I mean, you can see how much projectile speed I put on this thing, but when I ran this, I was like, wow, this really is just not something's. But you'll see it. I like the mod heads for this target too. I'm paranoid about getting the Gales out before anything else for the UAVs.
Yeah.
You know.
So there's no advantage of putting the gridiron at the front, is there?
No.
No.
No, because the arc missile is going to nail you. You know, it's useless the way they have it. I mean, the speed adjustment was nice, but they needed to do more.
No, I mean instead of running, you know.
No,
Two
the Zealous.
and-
No, two Zealous is the shit. These monoliths too are you know, if I'm gonna run this fleet, the monos are getting the countermeasures off, and 2 more mortars are going on because these are weak as hell with, you know, just a couple of 5 mortars on them. Because now I'm down to only 3 monoliths instead of 4. So, but this is, I mean, you just sit there and stack, and you don't give a crap. You just walk right up, park, wait till everything's dead, keep on going. It's a lot less stressful than driving the other way. I would much rather do this 14 times than have to drive the target like I did with the 1 Zealous 14 times.
Yeah, and I think
You know,
even though this is a lot more like a garrison target, quote unquote, should be, I think the major problem still exists of, wait, how many times do we have to do this to get, you know, tier 5 and tier 4? And even
Yeah.
I
And
wanted
that to
to.
me is the biggest
Yep.
problem. It's actually not even the damage. Like, you guys are figuring out ways of taking pretty much 0 damage, and I know players are very good at that. The main problem is like, wait, I have to do that how many times?
Yep. I mean, I would not mind. I really would not mind if they had, like, if this thing gave me like 3 hours of damage and I only had to run 3 of them, I'd be happy as piss. I'd be like, all right, cool, I can live with that. hit it in the morning, go to work, come back, hit it
I'm
again.
not gonna
and
say
hit it in
this
the
one
morning
because I really don't want to give them any ideas about changing this target
again. Yeah,
again.
I don't think they're gonna. No, I don't think they're gonna change the 115 again, dude.
Yeah,
I think they've learned their lesson.
Think they won't, but I don't know. So what I'm saying just is, you know, they could introduce an extra target above the
Make a
115,
120,
the 130, 125, whatever. That it gives you 3 hours of damage, and it sucks to do, but you know, you score like 800,000 points or whatever the magic number has to be.
But where does it stop?
What do you mean?
You know what I mean? Like if you want another target, and then they're not gonna do it right, and then
No, sorry, I actually want no targets. I mean, if possible, I just want to do PvP.
Yeah, that would be good. Go back to old school PvP only.
Go back to one raid a month, no FM, no TLCs. Man, everybody's mashing each other. I love that.
Yeah.
That would be so awesome.
That would be the game I signed up for.
Yeah.
And you know the funny thing is I think a lot of the angst that's going on with the 115 and us trying to get it down to like as little or no damage as possible is because of the amount of time and the amount of targets that we have to run. You know what I mean? Because in the back of your mind, you're like, okay, well, if I have like an hour or two free, I want to be able to do as much of the FM as I can, and then go do real life stuff, right?
Well, go do one of the 217 TLCs they released this week. Yeah, I know they're all reruns. Okay,
Plus,
I think I did Defensive Arts Packs 1 and 2, and I won't be bothered about 3. You know, but what I wanted to say with all these DLCs actually is like, one thing I've learned, and I know some people don't like that, but I try to build 2 fleets of each type every cycle, just because. And one of the 2 ships, I mean, if you look at it, one of the 2 ships, they give a lot of tokens, and for the other one, they don't.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like right now, you can find hunter tokens in the past 2 raids, in TLCs, yada, 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 right? So, and same thing with the Skyfires. My Skyfire fleet was primarily built with tokens. And once you have 2, it's easy. I mean, I can do all TLCs without coin, you know, because I have 2 fleets. If I smash one, I bring the other one out, and I choose the one that's best for each encounter until the end. And it works so much. Like, there's no stress. I know some people actually get stressed around the game because
they don't have both.
Yeah, because they got a coin and they can't get to the end and don't want to quite get mad. Yep. I'm doing all these stuff without coin just because I built the 2 fleets. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and you know, the funny thing is too is after the Skyfire debacle last raid set, I went completely hunter, and I am happy as piss. I had the best time during the raid because I didn't have to do shit. I autoed.
Yeah, because hunters are carefree. I mean, you throw them around, and as long as you don't step in the clouds, and in their elite target, it's designed so they don't on autopilot. You don't need to worry.
Yep, they did it. They actually did a really good job with that target to let you actually use an auto fleet as an auto fleet. It was great. I enjoyed it. I mean, it was probably one of the least pressured raids I've done recently. Yeah,
but don't say that too often. They're gonna add more shit to it.
Well, if I feel pressured, I don't want to play. If I enjoy it like I did, I will play. You know, I was doing a lot more crap than just the raid. I was able to do a bunch of stuff for fun. I was able to actually enjoy, movies and stuff while I was playing. My engagement time was probably really high because the game was on constantly.
But you didn't need to pay super duper attention to it.
I wasn't
do other stuff at the same time.
Exactly. I wasn't sitting on the edge of my seat, trying to drive like a freaking
driving hell raids.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, that was horrible.
Exactly. That's a perfect comparison right there. That's it.
I remember the hell raid with them. I went from heaven to hell because at first I'm like, yeah, I can do this. Oh man, I can drive that. And you kind of feel proud about it for the first 5 battles, and after that, it's like, oh, what? I have to do that 50 more times?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think I did like this target as far as the engagement and as far as having to figure something out. but I think they need to double the point value in order to make it less of a grind. And I think that would fix it, or split the cost of the prizes or whatever. But make us do half the number of targets that we're asked to do now, because it does take a lot more time than previously.
Or like George said, I'd be fine with an extra like level 125 target that pays me, I don't know, 800, 1 million points, whatever. It's just like in the old days, the top FM target, like the 85, paid a lot, and you do 3.5 and you're done. Remember that?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's sort of what the 113 was. Well, you got through one time, yeah, and you had, you had 3 targets to hit over 3. You had 3 targets to basically hit over 3 days.
Yeah, but look, we
So
have
one target a day.
we have so many damn chores. Honestly, I just want to hit like 3 fucking targets, be done with the FM, so I can do any of the other number of things that are in the game that I have to do. Between
and that goes well beyond the FM, George. I mean, I've been asking Kickside to please put one of the 100 assault targets on the map, paying like 75,000 uranium, and I don't care if it's hard.
Yep.
Because doing 85s for 25k, titanium.
Titanium, yeah, I was gonna say titanium is just
doing the 85. Like the other day, I was empty of titanium after the raid because they don't give one single way you can possibly win titanium during the raid. And no, I didn't have daily chests. So it's like, okay, now I gotta fill up from scratch, and I think I had to hit like 10 of them.
Yeah, the other thing is that if they dropped out if they got rid of the flying Cheetos and cheese ball thing, they got rid of that. They didn't be able to get out of those targets.
Well, but the cheese balls, they're counterable. You literally put like 2 gales on your fleet, and the odds of you being hit by one drop from maybe 5% to 0.1%.
You'd think, but when they went to the map, it changed from what it was doing in the raid, because I had enough where in the raid I didn't even bother. I was never worried about it, and I've been hit in the map targets with them.
Yeah, but here's the thing. In the raid, I was running 1 gale. I found out on the map I added a 2nd gale, and it's back to like not worrying about it. Right? Which is weird. You shouldn't have gales on an assault target because in theory it's penetrating and corrosive, but whatever, they cheat. But
Yeah,
back to the point, like I really would like to see the level 106 target on map paying something like 100,000 titanium, so I hit 2 or 3 and I'm done. Even if that, hurts my fleet.
Yeah, I can live with.
I could do the 1085s with my Skyfire fleet non-stop, and I docked and I had 3-hour repair.
Yeah,
not everyone has a fleet like that, but still, I mean. So I could probably do 2 106 with my Skyfires, and if that gives me 200 titanium, now I can go and do fun stuff, not grind the same target 10 times, and which makes me hate the game.
But
well,
Brent,
yeah, and what do you think? Go ahead, Doctor.
Would you coin your FM? Would you coin the fleets to do your FM?
Never.
The repair? Never.
No, just slow repair.
Okay, now, would you coin the fleets if you went and hit a base?
But I did that. Oh yeah, every Monday I do that. I mean, I go if I have to hit my line, I go and I hit and I coin like I was coining like 2 coins here, 4 coins there. I mean, if it totally dies like it died on a base on Monday, then I won't coin. But if it takes some damage, I'll coin the repair to hit the next one.
So what you're saying is you don't coin the FM, but you do coin in the when you hit targets.
Dude, the only PVE I coin is raid, and I have a low budget for that.
Yep.
So you're saying that Kickstarter would make more money if we could hit bases?
From me, yes, but apparently not for most players.
Oh, I would have thought everybody'd be in the same.
Me too, but apparently that's not the case. I don't know.
Oh well, there you go. It just shows I'm not as smart as Kickstarter. Sorry.
Because the reality of the game today, I mean, after 6, 7 years, 6 years, whatever online, right?
I think it's 7. Yeah, it's 7 something years. Yeah.
Gonna be 7 now, or it's 7 just now. I mean, for the alpha players, but the reality is most players who are hardcore PvP have left the game already. We can all name at least 10 of them. Okay, the guys who are hardcore base hitters left the game already. So of course, people who are left are those who are either fine with a lot of PvE or can tolerate that as long as they have some free time to hit bases. The guys who are really hardcore PvP, who just wanted to get home after work and smash bases, they're all gone. So of course now you look at the player base and go like, yeah, you know what? Not enough people do PvP. Yeah, you drove them away.
Exactly.
Yeah, and there's a lot of ways to fix it. That, I mean, besides the chores, there's other things that are related to that. That as far as like, a lot of players don't want to get involved in PvP because of the ramifications.
Oh,
as it
so
relates
it's back. It's going to disrupt their chores. So, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It goes back to the chores. I don't want to hit anybody because if I hit somebody, they'll hit me back when I'm doing a TLC, and they'll sink my TLC fleet, and then I'm not going to finish the TLC. So back to chores.
Yep.
Well, that's one part of it, and then also if you're upgrading your turrets or upgrading or doing anything in your base, that's going to get interrupted depending on what it is for 10 hours plus whenever you get back on. So if you like schedule something out, so now you could be talking about, involving in PvP is going to have like 24 hours, every 24 hours onto your stuff. It's
And here's the thing: if you can defend your base and you put the turret you're upgrading in the middle of the base, even if that's not the place for it, but put it there while it's upgrade. So only people who break in will damage that turret, right?
Yeah.
I mean, don't upgrade the turret that's way out on the rim. It's the first one everybody's going to kill, because then, you're done.
Yeah.
Right? And if you can't defend, you're going to get a 36-hour bubble, 7 hours to repair, and now you have 29 hours of uninterrupted upgrading going. Halfway, when the game started, the labs took 3 hours, 5 hours to repair. So every time you got hit early in the game, every single research we had going would be set back. Remember that?
Yeah, except for we maxed out a lot of,
I'm saying early in the game when we were researching and unlocking stuff, we would all be penalized. But then at some point they said, no, okay, like we have a lot of high-level players who are all done research. So for everyone else now, there's no penalty on the lab. It's 5 seconds. But for a couple of years, it wasn't 5 seconds. It was like 5 hours.
And you also kept them on your center. And you also kept them on your center island.
Yep. You had to protect them, just like you had to protect your warehouses, because getting full warehouses involved hours of play.
I mean, dude, it used to be if you got 500%, you were the shit. I mean, that was your point of hitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was resources. Yeah, it was because you would go. So many people would go in Rim. Yeah, Rim just the resource generators. Just to get the resources.
Yeah. And how many times we'd go, and FEF, I mean, they say, oh, fleet versus fleet on map is dead. Sure, it's dead because that happened when people were outside hitting mines. And you hit their fleets to get their resources, and still part of their resources from them. Remember that? Yeah. So the game had a fully functional economy that's broken today, and instead of having a whole working economy, they just try to drive us nuts with all these timers and useless prizes many times, instead of having a solid game economy going.
Yeah, but I'm not sure it's which time you're talking about, because the original game, that was boring. That was just weird. I mean, because we would spend all our time just sitting there next to a mine. This is before base attacks and before all, because salvages weren't even around.
Well, they were barrels.
No. I'm talking about before that.
No, salvages. Before that, in the first alpha, salvages were barrels floating on the sea. Remember that?
Yeah, but I remember the time before that. I remember the time before there was the barrels floating on the water, where the only way you could get resources was from the mines.
Yeah, the
And you had
mountain
to
of platinum.
Yeah, and you had to sit there because every 45 minutes or so, they were going to launch the Drax. Were going to launch fleets to kill
That's right,
your
yeah.
mining fleet. And then you also had to worry about some asshole next to you coming and taking whatever you had. So you had to sit there for like 8 hours a day in order to control your ships when either the Drax were going to hit you or, one of your neighbors were going to hit you.
I know that was boring, but I'm not talking about that time. I'm talking about the time when base heat was already there and people were hitting around with their floating fortress or yellow banana boats or orange banana boats, and then people hit each other's bases. George said that for resources.
Yeah. And like I said, people also just rim bases because everybody had their resource generators on the outside. You would just rim them, and then
So
Hey guys, but the biggest
I'm saying
thing
you
was
would
being
hit
able
fleets
to.
on the map. You would hit fleets on the map because even at that time there were mines. The mines would be clustered around the coming soon draconian bases.
I only hit fleets because the people in Sector 2, assholes. So
that's the gang option.
That's the reason I hit fleets, and the fact that I had that full fleet of Zelos with Hard Barrel 3s and Thud 4s. That was fun too.
I was gonna say I gotta say that I don't know if you guys all know, but Hef is the guy who invented Seawolves with Hardened Barrel 3 and discovered that could beat any other possible fleet combination on the map. He would leave his one Seawolf with thuds and Hardened Barrel say, "Come hit me, I dare you!" And people would bring everything like Reaper Cannon, floating fortresses, whatever, and he would win every battle. And then all of a sudden, everybody had Hardened Barrel 3 Seawolves.
Yeah, it was fun because Sector 2 talked trash like nobody's business, and we had to go take care of business down there.
We had to, we had to.
Yeah. And it was fun, I had a great amount of fun, just because I would take out like 20-30 fleets and not have any damage.
My problem with that is, you would just sound like two old guys talking about shit that happened last century. But the reality is, and that kind of saddens me, I don't think anybody on the current BP team, and I'm including product team, design team, I'm not sure, but I don't think anybody is from that time when the game was pretty much 100% PvP.
Yeah.
And all they know is, okay, what is the next PvE activity we're going to put out to engage the players? In their minds, they are engaging the players.
Yeah,
because that's what they know.
Because they've got handed down. They see notes. They don't quite understand what was going on at that point, and nobody was picking. There's very few videos of what was going on, and and so many things have changed as far as at that point, you couldn't even click on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in order to control different fleets, and you couldn't control them all at once. You had to click on them and control them individually. So that was fleet versus fleet was much less efficient.
There was no up arrow either to select them all.
Yeah, or up arrow, down arrow. None of that was there.
Yeah, one of them wasn't there. I don't remember, but that was new thing they introduced later. But I'm just talking about the fact that the origin of the game and the game that attracted 3 million users in its first few months, it was a PvP game. It was a massive multiplayer real-time environment where people could go in and smash the crap out of each other. And people keep coining their fleets back so they could stay in the fun, come back. I really don't see anybody motivated to coin their fleets to complete their 13th FM target.
No. So perfect segue. I just got an LTO for 20 days of Zelos build tokens for $35.
Good grief. That's
Are they
their
broken
answer?
last year? Is
They're
that
not
what you're
new,
saying?
people. We found them.
That's their answer.
Yeah, it is. We
Fucking.
found them, guys.
See, you guys asked
Wow.
for the tokens. The tokens are right there. Just go buy them.
Well, here's my answer. So there we go.
I mean, it is decent value. It is decent value, right? 28. You said
Yeah,
28 days
it's
for
about
35 bucks.
$75 a day.
It's 20
That's
days.
actually not, yeah, 20
And
days.
Brian,
20,
does that mean
okay, 20 days. Okay.
Does
One
that mean
person.
you're only going to buy the offer once?
It looks like it. I only see the one offer, just 20 days for
No,
35
I mean
bucks.
the gesture that you made. You're only going to buy the offer once. Is that what
Oh,
you're
yeah.
saying?
Oh, that.
He doesn't get it. I know what you
Yeah,
mean.
you gotta explain it twice because if it's not math, Brian's a bit slow.
He's
Yeah,
got to explain it. It's
I was
not
just
funny anymore.
calculating the actual rate for it. I'm sorry. I can only handle one input at a time. I'm not that advanced of a cyborg yet.
Yeah, you have a serial port, not a parallel port.
Oh, Ren.
What?
Nothing. I'm just chuckling.
Yeah, so 20 days of Zealous, that'll get you all set. I like how,
So let's just do the math. List price 20 days would be 960 coins.
yeah, $96 they said. So,
96
yeah.
US dollars. And yeah, that's yeah. But just remember that when you buy regular coins in the game, if you're gonna buy that, if you're gonna spend $96, or I think it's $100, you actually get 25% more tokens already. So
1,250.
yeah, so you get a 25% extra value for your $100. So when it's 50 off list price, but you never pay list price for 1,000 coins. You pay 25 off.
Yeah, I'll do that rate in a minute.
So it's anyways, it's still a 25 off discount from just buying the coins, like buying 1,250 coins for $100, right? Yeah, I mean, if you want to spend the money on
Hey guys,
fifth iteration of your FM fleet, go for
Yeah,
it.
but here's the thing. You know, this is an issue that they've created, and rather than, I mean, no, see, this is just, it's just wrong on so many levels.
Hey man, you want to do it for free, you know, like finish FM, get the Zelos token, the 1-day ship token, the 2-day ship token, the 3-day ship token, and generic, and use them on your Zeloses. That pretty much that's what it is. Now you want to buy, you know, want to spend $50 on tokens for a hull that's a year old, and I don't know how much value it has left, because, you know, if they stick to the same cadence they had this year, the next Zelos, Zelos iteration should come out in January for the siege raid. So think about it, because I don't know how the next iteration of the generalist will be, if there's going to be one, but it should come out in December or January, because that's when the Zelos came out.
I was about to say that.
So think about it. I don't know if it's going to be as good, or if it's going to be as good on countermeasures specifically, but there will be a new generalist coming out probably December, January.
are we gonna have to get it before getting the new stuff again?
I don't know.
Probably.
They change it every time.
Well, has anyone tried a what's that cannon that you can put on the is it a depth charge you can put on the Zelos, or is it a rocket?
Oh, the mousetrap?
Mousetrap.
Yeah, I wonder if anyone's built one of them.
I built 2 of them. That's for the skirmish, right? Yeah, I built 2 of them with tokens. The tokens I had left for Zelos from 3-4 raids ago. They gave like 10 days of Zelos tokens each raid, and I got them all. So it was enough to finish 2. And without the flagship, they totally suck. Like totally suck.
So they wouldn't be like anywhere near as good as the icebreakers in the targets.
No, sorry. I thought you were talking about the mousetrap. Mousetrap skirmish, right? So I thought I'm thinking them versus Tide Seekers. The Tide Seekers, I would take the Tide Seekers any day in skirmish. Now I didn't try them in FM. If that's your question.
Oh, okay, yeah, that was my question. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm sorry. No, I didn't.
No, that's
try
all right.
them.
I haven't been able to check in the game. Oh, that's a monolith offer. Never mind. I was thinking of the Zelos offer. where it said 7 days for 99 cents. I was hoping that was a Zelos offer, and that one I couldn't pass up. 99 cents for a week of Zelos builds. But yeah, never mind.
Can I show something on my
That's
screen?
interesting.
Sure. I'll highlight you.
Okay, so here, can you see my repair bill here? 4 hours,
Yeah.
27 minutes. That's after 115. So 900 points, I think, whatever it is now, for 4 hours and a half. So I could still, if you look at the health on my ships, I could still probably hit one more at least.
Yeah.
Get 1.2 million now and just dock them for repairs overnight. So that's why, I mean, I'm at this point, and this is good enough for me. I'm not going to be pursuing the ability to do that damage free. So I have all the shit I want to build.
Did you see the one that I hit?
I did with the ballistic ones, yes.
Yeah, I hit the 115. I didn't have ballistic on it. I had mortar on it.
Oh no, I didn't see that one wrong.
And I did the full target for 1:27 repair. And I've got a half-built Zelos Com Prime and a regular Zelos and 3 monoliths.
You're about an hour and a half late, man. We've been talking about 2 Zealous doing them for 0 repair, nonstop.
Yeah, I was a minute, so that's not bad.
No. I mean, what we're trying to do on the show, you missed a little bit, I understand, because it was full up, but the 2 Zealous thing, we're trying to avoid the 2 Zealous thing because a lot of people don't have 2 Zealous. And 2 Zealous appear, no matter what you do with 2 Zealous, it seems to be magic. To be honest, I haven't seen a lot of people failing with. Well, of course, you don't see a lot of fail videos on that. That would be more fun. I'd like to see, for the people out there, I would like to see more PvE fail videos on the, on
Did you
the.
like mine where the game went down when I was doing my icebreakers?
That was amusing. I'm glad you published that. I did watch that one because it's like all of a sudden, oh, okay, and you can come back 4.5 hours later and start the repair after they're dead. Yeah, that was amusing.
It was just because it gave me the red screen, refresh the game, and I hit refresh and I got the down for maintenance screen. Then I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and they haven't. I mean, they said it was an issue with instant repair. I think the issue was they figured out that people could probably refit all their ships for free. I haven't been able to get confirmation on that, but Rampage's explanation was there was an issue with instant in people's docks, which I don't know how that popped up, but yeah, that's. I'm assuming that's what happened since they shut it down so quickly because it was only live for like 5 minutes. Yeah, all I got is 1 day Zelos build tokens for times 20 for $34.
How come I don't got that?
Because you're
You haven't refreshed.
Besides
that, you haven't refreshed.
I was thinking, damn, I need those tokens. And
in practice, you probably don't. It's probably going to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you could build a Zelos but at this point, there's no freaking reason that anybody should have to spend $35 to compete in the FM when they told us that they weren't going to change anything again for another how many more months? Another 6 months.
At least, yeah.
But that's why, in the end, those LTOs don't bother me because it's like, hey, it's your money. If you want to spend on it, go for it. It's your money. You worked for it or whatever.
But
it's ridiculous in my opinion and your opinion. But if somebody wants to buy it, go for it. Just keep in mind the Zelos is long on the tooth, and there's going to be a new gen coming out in a few months.
Yeah, but the gens haven't really escalated because the Zelos was the first one, right?
No, there's only 2.
Yeah, but it was the first one, and it's not like the Zeloses or the Generalists are escalating. I mean, I guess that's the point that maybe that makes sense to keep on building them because they don't appear to escalate. The weapons appear to escalate. but the
Same.
hull themselves stay. You know, they make things right.
The weapons.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah,
The
no,
weapons
and
are
by the way,
similar.
it's like what they did with the Sinful Scattergun that adds a whole bunch of deflection to the
Mhm.
ship it's on, and that gave like a new lease of life to my Gluttonies and to my Inquisitors. I hope it's like actually does more of that, putting the bonuses in the weapons like they do for the Generalist and like they did now for the Sinful Scattergun. I want more of that.
Yeah. Because I have this Inquisitor built. I don't. It's not completely built. I mean, I have the 3 specials and all the Sinful Scatterguns. But yeah, I like the whole idea because I'm going to use it in the base card.
I have a set ready, but ranking them sucks. Because I don't have a mega hull. And when did they give you the ability to make them? Was it like 4 months ago, 5 months ago?
It's about the right time frame. 4 or 5 months ago. You're correct.
Back in July, I think, or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just wondering if I should build a mega hull literally only to do that.
You
But
should.
then that wouldn't be reasons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably
I
should.
mean, it makes sense
I mean,
because
they're not going to get on it. They're too busy putting out FM fires. Still.
And they gave a whole bunch of tokens. I think you can actually like kind of build a gantry and a mega hull almost instantly nowadays.
Yeah.
If you spend money.
No money. They kind of like they were giving away tokens on some TLCs for other stuff that had mega hull tokens as well, but like not mega hull TLCs. I'm trying to say. I have a few. I mean,
I have a
was a
3-day Hyperion build, and I know I got like some. I got 2 weeks up on my gantry for some reason.
like I don't know why,
But-
Brian, and I don't know from where, but I go on my inventory. I have 4 times 7-day gantry build token. I don't know where they came from because I didn't buy them. I didn't do mega hull TLCs. I just have them.
There was probably one like a couple months after, because for a while they didn't allow you to coin it, but I think after a while, they ran some things to like, and it gave you a week's worth of build tokens. There a 1 week build token if you did a mastery or whatever.
Yeah, something there. I don't remember.
I think something, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good transition to the fact that the VXP weekend is. I don't know that anybody's actually doing it, but it's a really bad trend what they did. As far as not allowing people to retreat and maximize, you know, it's like, okay, well, go kill this stuff and then wait for 15 minutes for it to time out. That's not, if they're trying to remove chores from the game, like they say on the little, what do they call those things on the left-hand side now?
The state of the game.
No. What do they call the little icons? But the
Pills?
state of the, what?
They call it a pill, which is a little weird.
Okay, they also call it something else, but yeah, I mean the fact that it's still there is, you know, it's enough for me. I mean, saying that they're going to reduce chores in the game,
Oh,
and then
that's a slap in the face. The fact that they didn't take that offline.
yeah. I mean, there's all sorts of crap in that state of the game that's never happened. I mean, they're going to come out with another state of the game. You know, there's like 3 or 4 things at least. You know, even if you don't even consider chores in the game being reduced as part of it.
If basic grammar and math are things that they can't do properly on a frequent basis, then pulling the thing that makes them look really, really dumb, nah, nobody's looking at that.
No, I hope they do something to reduce chores in the next 3-4 weeks, man, because this is really bad. Like this double chore on FM is just really bad.
I'm more stressed doing the FM than I did the last raid. I have to strategize way more about about my time and how I spend it, what I do. Maybe it's because it's during the week and, you know, I actually have a life. It's buried in textbooks, but it's there. And so that's less time because, you know, I actually have to do things. Do they think we're all retired or something?
Yeah.
Retired or retarded, one of the two. But, you know.
The first one.
Okay.
Sometimes
But, yeah.
they think we're the second one.
Yeah. Yes. More often than not, I feel that way. But yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm just, nodding my head, and I'm just trying to figure out what their strategy is with a lot of this stuff, because it feels like they did this FM for really no reason. If they did it for a reason, they need to communicate that. They need to communicate.
They're so good at communication.
Oh,
well, yeah.
That ship has sailed and was sunk by an arc missile from God.
Yeah, but they should communicate it in some way, because we have, I don't even know, last I looked it was
So
like 4
let me stop you right there. They do communicate in some way. We just don't understand, apparently.
Yeah, okay. we still haven't figured out what dolphins are talking about, and dolphins are obviously communicating with each other, but as humans we don't understand them, and I consider that as sort of a similar situation, because dolphins are very intelligent, but they're talking in a language we don't understand at all, and at times I feel it's not even a new trend. I mean, it's been going on for years. Since the holy bearded one left, where he talks straight to you, right?
Yeah, I think they might be saying so long and thanks for all the fish.
Yeah. Wow, that was last night's show. Yeah.
I'm a little sad. That was a good show. I got it. There was nothing like what you expected from literally any other time.
Did you get teary-eyed, Brian? Did you get teary-eyed?
I laughed so hard. That was funny as hell. It was 30 seconds in. I'm like, damn it, I missed MASH. And here it is.
Well, MASH was never that enthusiastic when he was on the show. I mean, he was like, he was mad. Oh, what's the guy in like?
Okay. He was pretty enthusiastic, but he wasn't that enthusiastic.
Yeah. He was out of the box. He reminded me of that guy that tells you what stocks to buy.
Jim Cramer.
Yeah. That's who he is, right? That's what that was.
That guy's gonna like bust an artery live on air, and it's gonna be horrible. Like, I'm scared for that man's life. He is aggressive and also somewhat large. Last I remember, I'm worried.
Yeah, but Nash did a good job of he kept everything up. But that was that's who he reminds me of. Was it like Mad Money?
Jim Cramer? Is it Jim Cramer?
I don't know. I've only I've just watched. I don't watch it all the time because I don't. The TV show, I'm like I would never trust to
Jim Cramer.
From some Jim Cramer. Okay.
Can I ask you guys about an offside question?
Go ahead.
I just hit the first 100 on the XP weekend with the triple salty with my hunter, so I actually finished the target in one go. 19.9 KVXP. Is that what you guys are getting to? Whoever's doing it?
I'm not doing it. So it's 6. So it's 5 of them, right?
Yeah, the flagship and 4 hunters, triple salty. I killed the whole thing in one go and 19.9 KVXP.
Okay.
I've only done Conqueror holes, and I'm like dealing damage to them, so my math is a little off. But that sounds about right. It sounds about 4,000, and you probably took a little bit of damage at least.
Yeah, about 10% damage to the fleet.
Yeah, that sounds like what we've been getting, about maybe 3,500-ish. Let's say the past, if you max out on damage or killing one or the other, that sounds about right.
Okay.
My Inquisitors took 3 shots. Dead. 3 volleys. Just bang, bang, bang.
And they're pretty good against concussive, right? And explosive. So on weekend targets, does their deflection get neutralized as well?
It has to work.
yeah.
Yeah, there's literally no other way. For that to
Oh,
work.
it does.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought VXP weekend targets were different for some reason.
I mean,
No,
there
it
was
just
never
it just
an
lets you
accidental
in.
target with the tier 6 conqueror, but no, there's no deflection.
Okay, so they're
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
much a floating turret. Okay,
Yeah, except for the fact that you can
engage.
you can engage them and you can outrun them, and you can skirt them and do some damage on them. At least with mine,
Yeah, I did a
because
little
you know
bit. 41
because I had this
is less than
Inquisitor
I
on mine.
remember.
I had this Inquisitor on mine, and I was able to outrange them and kite them. But at some point, I'm like, I'm giving up because it's like I've already got the max VXP I can get from attacking and defending, and I'm going to run around this base for whatever, and it's 24 minutes to fix it. So I just shut it down and let it kill it.
Okay.
We're still talking about the VXP target.
Yeah.
All right, so basically they're taking away the retreat button because everybody was doing the whole kill one ship and then retreat and then come back in.
And then you can get a lot more VXP from the same target.
Yeah, you could actually skull the ship with one target. In that way,
you could go in and people could go in and do stuff and just leave ships in there, and many people could hit the same target, so there was no competition for the targets.
Yeah,
and you didn't have to repair either, which is
So I mean, long story short, it was good for players that they couldn't stand that.
Haven't they already gotten their rocks off on bad for players with the FM changes?
I was gonna say, next thing you know, they're gonna change the FM.
It's so dumb because it's like, I think they're thinking that there's a linear correlation between engagement time and spending money, probably because they might see it in some other PvE aspects, like getting titanium or doing base parts or whatever. And like, oh, well, all we have to do is increase chore time and we'll increase that. Where have we not increased chore time in a while? And the answer is the FM.
Because when you increase the length of a battle or that kind of stuff, in the metrics, what you're showing is probably something like, oh, player session time has gone up. Right? Oh, I made the target lengthier, and now people are spending more time in the game, and when they spend more time, there's more chances they're going to quit. I don't know, I'm making that up, but
I mean,
that
it's
kind
not
of situation where the numbers are there, and what you're saying makes sense, only it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't make absolutely 0 sense. It just makes 0.1 cents.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's
you probably had 10 ways
thinking
of
something
approaching the
along those
problem,
lines,
and you're choosing the one that pisses people off because it's your easy way of reading the numbers, right?
Yeah, it's this weird sort of distortion. Like the numbers don't lie, but the people do. So
numbers don't lie, but you can add them up any way you want. You can slice and dice them any way you want.
Yeah, and you mess with context all over. I always try to give context with my stuff and just to, help people make better informed decisions. But this doesn't seem like a well-informed decision because you'd think they'd have learned, people, they lost a lot of money on this.
A lot of money and they lost future revenue because I can only imagine that at least a few hundred players quit the game for good.
And high-end ones too. I don't think they're thinking of future revenue.
Well, the guys who quit the game over that kind of shit are the guys who like doing PvP again, and then that leaves more and more people doing less PvP, which is going to support their view that, oh yeah, people actually like more PvE because that's where they spend most of their time.
Yeah, BRB dinner, sorry.
Now, on an upside down scale, this is the best thing they've ever done.
Long silence. Is it time to end the show?
Oh, even Hefe's not here now.
Nobody is. I think. Is it over?
Just you and me now.
Ha. That's funny.
Yeah, it would be.
No, I'm here.
Is this when Hefe give away all the build tokens?
Gonna draw
The
that
fuck is that?
I'm back. What do y'all want to talk about? Anything, everything.
Who's building Sinful Scattergun Gluts? Building or refeeding, but who wants to have that fleet? Who's gonna have that fleet handy
I
soon?
wouldn't mind having it, but I didn't play for the last. Ever since they changed the FM, so I don't have the new weapon.
Oh, you didn't get the stuff in raid.
No, I didn't play the raid neither.
Man, I had those 6-day Inquisitor tokens, so I picked up my Inquisitors. They're kicking ass. Not on every situation, but on some situations they're just indestructible, right? I mean, radioactive still kicks their ass real bad.
And corrosive.
Yeah, corrosive, you put some corrosive plate and they can kind of take the damage to a point, but radioactive just kicks their ass, period.
Yeah. That's why I want to put them in my base defense, because there's not that. If you put some walls up and put them in the right spot with the 100 and some range, they can take a lick, from everything else, because
I had a rage on my base guard up to yesterday. I just replaced that with an Inquisitor just to see how it goes.
Yeah, I want to do some testing with the Inquisitor versus a King's Red, as far as how that damage over time works. Because that damage over time is supposed to get past certain things, and I'm not sure how that's going to work, because it's not the same as.
Yeah, but the King Grid can damage the Inquisitor, can it? I don't think it can with 70,000 concussive deflection or something stupid like that.
Yeah. But what I'm talking about is the fact that it's the damage over time. It's supposed to. Do you know the mechanic as far as how that works? As far as damage over time relative to deflection associated with that damage, or the corrosive damage over time, because that's the only damage over time at this point. It doesn't completely shut it down, but I don't know how it mitigates it in some way. But do we know how? Because they won't let me on the preview servers. They're afraid I'm going to do whatever.
Oh, they already have George to do whatever. They don't need you there to do whatever. It's too dangerous.
Yeah. Well, George is getting old. He's seen that. Just because Doom Rooster doesn't like me, he's out. He's no longer around. So But they still are.
They should cozy up to Rampage.
They should do what?
You should cozy up to Rampage.
Yeah. He's not cute enough. He looks too much like me too, but except for we have just be too weird. We both have the long hair and the goatee.
Do you like wrestling? I think he likes wrestling.
Well, I know we know a former GD really was into the wrestling, which was really odd for him. But Admiral Shoulder Huggers was big into the wrestling.
I was having a political argument with him yesterday. We still talk about politics,
I talk about politics and football. How the Patriots are, they're destined for to go downhill. At least in my opinion, relative to his. Because Tom Brady is what? He's 78 at this point.
Now, I think.
Yeah. I mean, he's not going to make it to 85, in my opinion.
No, I think they've invented some sort of treatment to keep the guy going. They're just not selling that to us mortals. But I think he can go up to 140.
Yeah. I think it's the avocado ice cream. I think it's the avocado ice cream, but I could be wrong. But yeah, but back at that point, I mean, that brings up a point I was trying to bring up earlier, was the fact that back in the day, not the early days, but the mid days, they would change the raid targets and they would put tons of them out there. There was the game developers they would put out a lot more targets for us to hit and keep us interested in the game, as opposed to like right now, everybody's afraid of the targets we're seeing in the raid because we're like, I don't really like this target, and we know we're going to see this target for the next year. But at that point in time, we didn't think we were going to see that target for the next year. We thought things were going to change even within the raid, like 50 raid targets. And, the raids were more interesting. There was more variety. I mean, it wasn't like they were changing up the mechanics all the time. Because I did get a little bit miffed when it was like, okay, why does this have that on it? Why do we have why do we have like a missile cruiser with rockets on it, and why do we have they were I just wanted them to stay consistent at that point. They're not consistent now, as we've already talked about with the cold snaps, where the cold snaps, even the turret stuff, the cold snaps and the gargoyles, you have what appears to be the same object that you're trying to hit, but it looks different. I mean, I'm sorry, it looks the same, but it acts different.
Oh, that's so lazy, and they've been doing that all the time, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It got really ugly on the Legion raid in 2016 when they had something that looked like a gargoyle, which should be concussive, but was firing corrosive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And after that, they've done that pretty much every cycle. There's something there that doesn't look like what it is.
Yeah, like I was saying with the 115, they have two different cold snaps on the same target with different ranges and different.
But you know what?
Different
I'm
evasions.
okay with that because we have a range transformer technology, and it's the same turret. You just put a range transformer, and now it has 10 more range than the others. I'm okay
And
with
also
it.
has
The same.
Well, it also has flak evasion when it has shorter range. I mean, because
again, you could say, oh, these are different specials on the turret, but at least it's not like they look the same and one fires explosive and the other fires penetrative. I mean, that wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah. But I still think, like I say, I think a lot of players are either gone or on the edge, and things like that could be really frustrating for players. They need to remove that. They need to make things more clear. I don't know. I'm fine with it because I figured out the ones that basically they're by themselves are short range, and if you get in their range, they're gonna mess you up. But the ones that are with other turrets, they're longer range, and you could shoot them down with your sprints or your tridents. At least I think that's the rule. Is anybody Holtz, you're here. You send anything that differs from what I say?
Wait, say what you just said again.
The turrets that appear to be cold snaps in the 115, if they're by themselves, they're going to be short range and they're going to have a huge amount of countermeasure evasion. If they're paired with something else, either a turret cluster or just a single arc missile, they are going to be longer range, but you can shoot them down with your sprints or tridents.
Yeah, that's what I've seen.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess it's time to figure it out. And I guess for Ren, I think the bigger question is, I brought it up on shows. I don't think I brought it up on the show that you're on. do shows like this and the videos that people make, do they make the game worse? Because I don't know if you've heard this question from me before, because my thought is the fact that Kixeye can't react to everybody, figuring things out. And they need to go and make big sweeping changes in the game because the community has figured something out. And now they make big blatant changes that make it less fun as an individual to go out and figure out something to do as a target, because the next thing you know, there's going to be a video up there on how to do it. But like back in the day, if you figured it out, you might have told a couple of your buddies, but that's different than what's going on now, where it's broadcast to thousands of people who then tell, a couple more thousand people, and really change the dynamic of the game.
Do you think it's any different than it's always been? I mean, we always had people posting videos about BP.
Well, we had people posting base hits. Like when if somebody hit holes and owned them, they would put some post and, and brag about it. But, explaining the game and trying to explain, everything, like how to hit an individual PvE target, that wasn't around back then. It was more just braggarts.
Well, that wasn't around because all these chores weren't around. So all we had to put videos out on was hitting each other. But I mean, the moment FM came out, people started posting videos on FM. The difference, I think, the main difference was, back at that point in time, you'd see somebody kicking the 65 in FM. 65 was the hardest target. Remember that? You'd see people doing the 65 with DNX. You'd see people doing 65 with MCX. You'd see people doing 65 with nuclear cruisers. You'd see people doing that 65 with all sorts of different combinations of fleets because there wasn't this whole class stuff. And I think it got so big and it got so impossible for them to anticipate all the crazy combinations we could come up with. They boxed everybody in with classes, right? And now what they try to do is whenever somebody is able to break the class, then they change it. But now it's easy for them, and I don't think it's the videos. It's more the fact that they boxed everybody in with classes. So before, it was almost impossible for them to close the loopholes because we could try everything. Right? You could literally try everything. And
yeah, we could try everything. And I remember times like the base defenders. Back
you could try
in the
day. But now they boxed it in a way, okay, these classes can't even engage. This class can engage, but there's a beauty in there dampening it, like they did the generalist and the assault target, elite targets, right? So now they're coming up with all these, I'm going to say, kind of like jerk move ways of blocking us from even trying, right? Oh, class A and B can't engage. Class C can engage, but there's a dampening structure. Or tier 5 and below cannot engage, only tier 6 and up. So they've created tiers, which we didn't have before, and they created classes, which we didn't have before. And it was all like, the story always goes like, oh, it's to help players. It's to help you identify the right level of technology or the right type of hull and weapon you want to use. So they sell it to us as, oh, it's a good thing to help you guys. But in the end, it's a tool that they now have to control what we can do. And I don't think it's the videos. I just think it's I don't know if they're running a smaller team and they have less time to check things out or what, but it's all mechanics to make it easier for them to control things, right?
Because I remember back in the day, like I was bringing up that example of the base defenders, that raid cycle, because you could run it with 4 people co-op in the single target, and it was Snowman, who's we had a whole group, and we would run a tandem team, and somebody would put the not the predator, the stalker, as a to draw all the fire off away everybody else. You remember
Yeah,
that?
that was all the Base Invader stuff. Somebody, I would do the CUDA or something, Stalker before a CUDA. You're right, to draw fire. Dragon Bases was the same thing. Dragon Bases, 4 players. Somebody would run a Spectre to draw fire. Yeah.
Yeah, but at that point we would videotape it, because I remember, what's his name? Arrogant British guy, but I forget his name at this point. Started with an S. No, started with an S. No. No, Liam wouldn't be driving subs. It was oh damn.
Yeah, whatever. I mean,
it
was salami.
Okay. I'm trying to remember his name. He'll probably pop up in chat like, oh, that was me. But yeah, we had him driving subs. And then everybody else was running behind it because they were firing at subs they couldn't hit because they didn't have retargetable and whatnot at that point. But it was like we videotaped that just in case they decided they wanted to ban us because we had so many points. And it wasn't like we wanted to share with everybody because at that point it was more of a PvP game. And so the PvE stuff was held close. And you didn't see this real creep before, as far as this creep and the technology on the kickside side.
Everything, I think they overall accelerated the game, right? I mean, the Base Invaders raid format ran for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They had some other formats running for 4, 5, 6 months as well. Now it's like, every 3 months, change. Release to map. A year later, release to map, Now there's a cadence in the game, and that's why sometimes, to me, it feels a lot like work, or, here's your 1-year performance evaluation. Right?
Yeah.
Let's announce our quarter results.
I mean, and personally, as far as, like, the whole idea, we changed the, I found is the lamest thing ever. We changed everything so that we could get all 4, for you guys, we put together so, you can get through all 4 different raid cycles in a year. Like, does it matter? Does it matter if it's 12 months or 16 months, whether we got through the whole raid cycle? All 4 parts of the raid cycle. Does that matter?
Nope.
Yeah, I mean that was that's what they kept on telling. That's what they told us, and I was like, I don't think it matters to the players if it's that's like some sort of OCD thing. Which some people were like, oh, we got it all taken care of in a year, but 16 months wouldn't have bothered me.
The other thing with that was the superstore raids, how often they would happen.
Yeah, but still, I mean.
Yeah. The thing is, like before, right? Remember, raids had 1 prize, and then raids had 4 prizes, and then raids had 5 prizes, and now raids have 35 prizes. And then the tech store actually has 60 or 70 or 80.
Yeah, or 150 or whatever, yeah.
The pace of the volume of content, the volume of things. Can you imagine if you just land in this game and you try to build a ship and you open the special tab and you gotta scroll down to the blueprint list of specials? There's no way, there's no logic, there's no rhyme or reason in the way they're grouped in there, right? I mean, if you're building a cannon ship, the cannon specials are all over. If you're building a launcher ship, the radioactive specials are all over. You try to use the drop down to filter stuff. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
no. They keep releasing a ton of stuff every month. It's just crazy.
Yeah, as a person,
I think back in the day, it was easier to build a ship that worked because you had like 20 options of specials, right?
Yeah.
Now you have 200 options of specials.
Yeah, or
And so
187.
what do I
Yeah,
use?
whatever.
So I honestly actually think when we started doing like TFC and stuff, my personal reason for joining, it was that I felt the game was bleeding players too fast because people didn't know what to build and built crazy wrong stuff and just gave up.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but I think putting the videos out there, how to kill a target, how to build stuff. Maybe I'm crazy again.
Well,
but I like to think it
no,
actually
no,
retained a lot of players in the game who would have quit otherwise.
no, I agree with you in somewhat. I mean, I'm going to go get another beer, but if we want to have a story about picking the wrong specials for ships and whatnot, I mean, Mike, you were chiming up earlier, right? Mike? Okay. I guess he's not.
Yep.
Okay.
Hello.
Hey, no. I'm just saying that you're one of those people that.
That was my main problem.
Yeah.
Is I did not understand all the mechanics. I struggle like hell to try and learn it. There's no Battle Pirates for Dummies book out there. You got to learn from other players. And some of the other players just kind of know, but they can't really explain it to you. So I can't tell you. And if it wasn't for shows like this and getting finally involved with these guys, you guys, I wouldn't be around because I'd just be spinning my wheels all the time.
That's a lot of players.
Yeah, I didn't have
A ton of
any
players.
I didn't have any other friends that played it. So every friend I have on this game was made on this game. I just picked it up because some guy told me one time I should try it.
Yeah, and the game, like you said, the game doesn't offer any tutorials to help you.
No, and it's invaluable. Now I try to put stuff together, and then I ask people, "Is this going to work?" Tell me if I should build this. Because I hate making mistakes.
And I'll be honest with you guys, in a way, I'm actually glad there are no tutorials in the game made by Kixeye, because if you just look at the ship builds they offer in their offers.
But
what they offer in there, the ship builds they offer in there, in the best cases, they are mediocre.
I mean, technically, there is some type of tutorial because in the beginning, they're teaching you how to.
For when you're level 20, yeah, your first 2 weeks in game. But after that, I mean, from level 20 to 80, it's a desert.
Yeah.
But it doesn't explain what the blueprints mean. It doesn't explain what the mechanics are. It doesn't explain how you.
I don't think Kixeye knows what some of these blueprints mean.
Well, there you go.
And even stuff that few players know. I mean, the simple fact that number you look on your stat block about spread, you actually have to divide by 5 to get the space in tiles. So if it says 100 spread, you divide that by 5, it's actually 20 spread, which is a tile. And that's what's going to happen. How many people know that? Very few.
Mm-hmm.
But see,
why do you have to divide it by 5 when you don't have to divide the other numbers by 5? I don't know, but that's how it is.
This kicks math.
But see, at the start, it wasn't as complicated as it is now.
Well, they're trying to bring it down. They're trying to simplify. Did you see the last 2 Conquerors they released? They're very simple.
Yeah.
not the Gluttony, not the Phantom Gluttony. That's Legacy. But I mean the Writ and the Twist.
I mean, if you look at the weapons that we have now, and the specials and the armors and God knows what, at the start you had a rocket, an extender, and an armor, and that was it. You could put a couple of think outside the box a little bit and put something else, a different weapon on it, and that'd be it. But now there's so many variations and stuff like that.
And it was simple. I mean, ships had 2-3 special slots. People can keep that in their brain, right? 2-3 specials. I'm modifying speed, I'm modifying resistance, I'm modifying splash. That's it. Cool. Now you have 6. And auras. And auras that stack from the other hull that you put on the same fleet. And crews. It's so many things. I mean, very few people are capable of anticipating the final fleet behavior they're gonna get when they put it all together. It's crazy.
Yeah, and God forbid something change about a weapon or you release an escalation in between the time you're started to build your fleet and the time you're done.
Mhm.
Okay. We're a little over 2 hours, and we're at 2 hours and 17 minutes. I'd like to give me and Dead Set and Renato have been talking a lot. I'd like to give an opportunity for I'm going to go left or right for people that haven't been, if they want to talk, feel free. If you don't, Aussie?
No, I'm just happy listening.
Okay. All right. Corey? Maybe not even listening. Alrighty. Mike, you've talked.
Yeah, I've
Ren,
been chatting about it.
Rum Runner.
I'm good. I've been talking a little bit.
Okay. Just making sure. The Holsh is always the chatterbug.
Yeah.
Come hit my base.
Okay.
You heard him.
Well, yeah. Toxic, you got a couple of words in, but do you have anything else that you want to add? 'Cause I just want to make sure that everybody that's on the panel has a chance to talk.
What do you want me to add? I could add a lot of things, but it's just like Ren said, it's getting all too difficult. There's too many permeations of what you can do with the one thing. There's too many weapons. There's too many specials. It's just getting way out of hand. And unless you got a PhD in mathematics, then you can't work it all out. Because I don't even think Kixeye knows how to do the maths on all of it.
Well, yeah. I mean, something we'll talk about in the after show is, I think some of you guys have seen the back and forth on the splash dispersion thing that I've been having with one of the GDs, and that doesn't, the reply makes no sense whatsoever. But I think that's going to go down a negative path that we shouldn't talk about publicly. Go ahead.
I disagree about there is a complication to the game, which there is. Well, mostly on the PvP side, right? But on the PvE side, there's just these cookie cutter ships every single 3 months that we have to build.
No, I don't see it that way personally. I see it as we don't get a lot of information. I mean, like one of my big bugaboos recently has been splash dispersion. And how does that work? And where does it work? And where does it get factored in? And, we noticed that they changed in the last week or two. They changed it from, at least on the ship side, they changed it from additive to multiplicative. But on the ship side. But they haven't changed that on the building side at this point. And, there's things in the game where I feel that you're not getting good information from looking at the game. And that I find disappointing because, I think there's a couple people that are on this panel that rely on that in order to make decisions on how they're going to act in the game. I know Ren and Brian and, Rob, there's a lot of people at Holsh.
By the way, I just got to give them credit where it's due. Displaying the projectile speed and displaying the unreactive time, amazing move, because that clarifies things that have been black boxes for us for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, there's still things out there like minimum splash. There's things out there that are, probably less of an. Oh, well, I shouldn't even say minimum splash. Everybody knows what the big thing is. It's the pass through, and how the pass through works, and how for individual components, for a hull, and things of that nature that we don't know, and it would really affect how we build things. But they expect us to build it, figure it out, put a video out, and then everybody figures it out from there. At least that's my my opinion on that part of some of the stuff. But I think the minimum pass through is one of the big things in the game that's not out there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, should we wrap up, or you go to the after show? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We can still add one more to the show. I will post on the right hand side.
I see 10.
4, yeah, 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, I'm the 10th.
We counted Brian twice.
No, you counted me 0 times.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, no, you did have 10.
May I request my moment of silence?
Mhm.
Or,
Oh, God.
oh, shut up. No,
No, shutting up is part of a moment of silence.
Well,
yeah,
yes.
You just requested it.
Yeah, you can't talk over you can't. No, you're requesting a moment of silence, so we can all be silent for 10 seconds.
Yeah, no. Well, no, for BV. A moment of silence for BV, a very long-running show that I'm sure a lot of us watched, and I still watched even up to the end. They had their last show last night. Maybe not necessarily a big part for my development as a Battle Pirates player. I went to the blogs for more things like that, but it was fun to watch and reasonably informative, and they were there a long time. And kind of regardless of how you feel about them on a personal level, it's a generally accepted thing that it's kind of the end of an era. So I wanted to have a moment of silence for their departure.
Okay, but you talked over the moment of silence, so let's move on.
No, we
Oh,
have a
you-
moment of silence. That 3 seconds, that was the moment.
The threesome? What are we talking about, a threesome?
Stop hearing what you want to hear and start listening.
Yeah. We heard earlier about your crazy boxers, and I don't even know what's going on with that. So,
I was trying to stop that joke because that was a shit joke, and I don't even know what you heard, but now I know what you actually thought you heard. So good on you, I guess.
okay. All righty. Well, unless somebody has anything that you felt is good for broadcast, we can go to the after show, and I posted the link, and I will post it one more time. We can go longer if anybody has anything they want to talk
Even if
about.
you do use 2 Zelos tanks or 2 Zelos, you still got to be careful because if you get in too close, you can get shot.
Yeah. The solo cold snaps will still come in
Right.
grab. Yeah, they'll do some damage at that
I
point.
wanted to go redeem myself and do one for nothing, and I took almost 2 hours damage. So same fleet. So you still got to be careful and creep up to those things.
They do need time to fire.
Yeah, noob tip, not a pro.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay,
Alrighty.
and that's all I got to say about that.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, I guess if nobody has anything else that they want to bring up as a topic of conversation, because we talked the 115 to death, and I'm not sure that we talked enough, but I don't know if we have much more to say associated with the no retreat from the VXP targets is a bad move from Kixeye. And is there anything else at this point?
We also mentioned that on live that if you're doing a refit, make sure you hit the damn refit button before you hit the speed up.
Yeah, did you get any follow anything back on your ticket?
I haven't looked. I don't expect it.
Okay. Alrighty. Well,
Hit refit before speed up.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, and they should have. Everybody has. If you want to use base parts or uranium, you have this double check. Like, are you sure you want to do this?
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to use gold, yeah, you don't have that. Which is it's a thing, as Brian would like to say, right?
It is a thing of questionable ethics.
Yeah, especially when they, when the start repair button is grayed out and you're just sitting there clicking, and then all of a sudden now you instant repaired it because it's grayed out now after the first bounty once they introduce the second build queue. Yeah, that's of questionable. It's questionable. And I can say ethics, but
That can take your gold number down pretty fast.
Yeah, I've done that before.
Yeah, I did it today.
All right, was that you, Corey? No.
No, Ozzy.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I was just, Corey asked for a comment, and I didn't hear anything, so I was just curious. All right. Well, let's proceed to the after show, and I guess we'll see everybody else on Wednesday. And I hope you, after watching the show, you do better on the 115, or at least have some build ideas, or and especially you people that are bitching about the monolith change, just stop. I mean, that was good. It doesn't even get good. It's just that it made something that was annoying tolerable, and then people are still complaining. I just did not like that. The people, so many people were complaining about that. So, yeah, those people, stop watching the show. Don't put some put some thumbs down on the show, and we will, we're gonna send Brian and Corey to go hunt you down. So, just an FYI.
Scrap your monos.
Fair warning, I actually hunt people down. I'm not much of a runner.
You gotta stay very still if Brian's gonna hunt you down.
No, I'm the major behind like 10 friggin' computer screens. It's like I'm in the Matrix, like just cameras everywhere and drones. And look, you'll be found. Just you're not safe.
Yeah. Don't complain about the lack of the accelerate function. I mean, the only reason to complain about it was the fact that I had Sofia Vergara on a floating bull in a pool, and just so I could explain what that accelerate function meant to me. So if you're complaining about it just so you don't see that anymore,
let me show you how the internet works. You can save pictures, you guys.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Alrighty. Well, see y'all on Wednesday, and I hope you all do well, and join us in the after show if you like.